The LA District Attorney announces his decision on the Mendez brothers will have legal analysis and the connections the case has to San Diego.
A man dies in police custody and his death is ruled a homicide. Now there's a big lawsuit. Details coming up.
Permitting for ADUs. How does it work? We're going to walk you through the process with the City of San Diego's Development Services.
Passengers on a plane that made a fiery landing are suing Frontier Airlines. Why they say the airline failed to keep them safe, and how smartwatch technology could be key in detecting a painful condition that develops in breast cancer patients. CBS 8 News Live at 6 starts now.
Tonight, the Mendez brothers have a path to get out of prison as the Los Angeles County District Attorney announces that he supports resentencing in the murder case. Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Marcella Lee.
I'm Carlo Cicchetto. Tomorrow, DA George Gascon will file a petition with the court, which will lead to a resentencing hearing. CBS 8's David Goffton talked to a legal expert who says the ultimate decision could lie with the parole board.
Under the law, resentencing is appropriate, and I am going to recommend that to a court tomorrow.
It's the first step to freedom for Lyle and Eric Menendez, who were sentenced to life without parole for the 1989 shotgun murders of their parents inside their Beverly Hills home. Los Angeles District Attorney George Gascon made the announcement.
Under the law, since they were under 26 years of age at the time that these crimes occurred, they will be eligible for parole immediately.
The brothers were ages 18 and 21 when they committed the crimes. In recent years, new evidence has come to light indicating the boys were molested by their father, including a letter written by Eric 8 months before the murders, alluding to sexual abuse.
There is no excuse for murder, and I will never imply that what we're doing here is to excuse that behavior, because even if you get abused, the right path is to call the police, seek help.
Recent documentaries and social media campaigns brought attention to the sexual abuse and the push for resentencing.
I think that often, for cultural reasons, we don't believe victims of sexual assault, whether they're women, whether they're men.
The Menendez case actually has a couple connections to San Diego. The brothers purchased their shotguns at a sporting goods store on Convoy Street, and they're currently serving their prison time at Donovan State Prison in Otay Mesa.
The DA has done something that is wise.
Attorney Gene Iredale was not involved in the case, but he says the decision to let the brothers seek parole after nearly 35 years in prison has merit.
The parole board is generally very sensitive to the statements and the wishes of the family. And in this case, the vast majority of the family are supportive of letting them be released on parole.
David Gottfredson, CBS 8.
Thank you, David. A judge will still have to agree to resentencing the brothers. The Los Angeles DA's office says a hearing on that could be set within 30 to 40 days.
New tonight, the family of a man who died in custody is suing the county, the city of Chula Vista, and Sheriff Kelly Martinez. The medical examiner declared 63-year-old Keith Galen Bach's death a homicide due to neglect. Bach's family says it was because he was not given his diabetes medication. CBS 8's Kirsten Holmes was at the announcement today and joins us live tonight. Kirsten.
Yeah, attorneys representing the family of Keith Bach say that his diabetes monitor was beeping loud enough for around other inmates for hours so that anyone around Bach could hear that his insulin pump had run out of medicine. Cecilia, Bach's wife, says that she even came here to the San Diego Central Jail to deliver more insulin to her diabetic husband, but she was turned away along with that life-saving medication.
Can I say, you took the love out of my life. I took care of my love for 24/7 for 35 years. There's nothing I can say.
Emotions are still raw for Cecilia Bach and her family after losing her husband and their dad, 63-year-old Keith Bach. Bach was a Navy veteran and an employee with the city of San Diego who was diabetic and needed insulin to manage his blood sugar. And without that much-needed medication, Bach, like most diabetics, would have mood swings.
On September 25th, 2023, however, the police arrived and arrested Keith because he had thrown a remote control.
The family is now suing the city of Chula Vista, the county of San Diego, Sheriff Kelly Martinez, and others, citing wrongful death and neglect among a list of other complaints in Bach's September 2023 death at the San Diego Central Jail. Yusuf Miller with the North County NAACP says this is another unnecessary and preventable death at the hands of law enforcement.
We cannot arrest our way out of medical health. We cannot arrest our way out of diabetes. He needed medical care, not cowboys, to come and help him at his home.
The San Diego County Sheriff's Office website lists in-custody deaths over the last 10 years. In 2022, our county jails saw a peak of 19 people who died behind bars. In 2023, that number was 13. So far, in 2024, 7 people have died in custody. And the manner and cause of death for 5 of those 7 deaths this year has yet to be determined. CBS 8 reached out to the San Diego County Sheriff's Office, who says they can't comment on pending litigation, but shared in a statement in part, quote, "In Mr. Bach's case, the findings of the homicide unit were presented to the district attorney and the United States Attorney's Office for review regarding potential criminal liability. In addition to the homicide unit's investigation submitted to the prosecutors for their review, the Sheriff's Office is conducting a separate administrative investigation into the matter."
Now, it is rare for an in-custody death to be ruled a homicide in our area, so we asked activists how many do they know of, and they told me 2 deaths have been ruled a homicide in the last 5 years. We reached out to the San Diego County Medical Examiner's Office, and we are still waiting to hear back, and when we get those results, we'll share them with you. Reporting for CBS 8, I'm Kirsten Holmes. Back to you.
Kirsten, we mentioned that the medical examiner did rule Bach's manner of death as a homicide, but what else do you know about those details, if any?
Yeah, the cause of death has been ruled diabetic ketoacidosis. That's when the body doesn't produce enough insulin, and it is a serious complication of diabetes. Marcella?
Right. We'll continue to follow this case. Thanks so much, Kirsten.
Right now, we're learning a former Marine accused of murdering his girlfriend in a drunken rage will stand trial. A preliminary hearing ended today with the judge determining that there is enough evidence to take 41-year-old Raymond McLoud to trial. McLeod's trial would begin next month, November 20th. The defense argued the death was an accident, but prosecutors say McLoud has a violent past. In 2016, McLoud vanished and fled the country after the death of Crystal Mitchell. He was caught in 2022 in El Salvador.
San Diego County says the first year of the CARE Act pilot program has been a resounding success. CARE stands for Community Assistance, Recovery, and Empowerment. It uses the court system to connect severely mentally ill San Diegans with resources, including treatment and housing. The program launched last October 1st under the CARE Act. First responders, family members, or friends can file a petition on behalf of anyone they feel is suffering from a severe mental illness. A court officer then decides if the person meets the eligibility criteria, and the person undergoes a mental health evaluation within 2 weeks. Participation in the program is voluntary.
There was a lot of hesitation when the policy was created, and so implementation is the hardest part, right? And the San Diego County CARE Act program actually stands out as having the most care agreements in the state.
Of the more than 200 petitions submitted, 71 people have entered care and treatment agreements. 2 have graduated. Roughly a third of those people were unhoused, but now 4 out of 5 are now housed. So some successes there. Local leaders are calling for the end of tolls along State Route 125, saying there are several issues with the current toll system.
One is the financial burden it puts on South Bay residents who don't have other options for their commute. Another is that it could help reduce congestion on the 805, which people use to avoid the toll. An internal audit also found numerous problems with the toll system itself, including tens of thousands of drivers being charged incorrectly. On top of all that, Chula Vista Mayor John McCann says it's unclear how the toll revenue is being used.
We want any money that is from the tolls to go directly to paying off the toll and maintaining the road. And it is ultimately, if they're not doing a good job, we need to remove the tolls immediately.
It's not clear how long it could take to remove the tolls. 3 passengers who were on a Frontier Airlines flight earlier this month that caught fire when it landed are now suing the airline. Flames shot out from the undercarriage of Flight 1326 you see there as it landed in Las Vegas from San Diego on Saturday, October 5th. None of the nearly 200 passengers and crew on board were hurt. The lawsuit claims the aircraft, quote, violently crash landed with a force so strong that it caused the landing gear to collapse and tires to explode. It also claims Frontier failed to safely maintain and operate the aircraft. Frontier says it does not comment on pending litigation. Over the last couple of years, we brought you numerous reports about the boom in ADU construction in the city of San Diego, covering everything from single-structure granny flats to mini apartment complexes.
We wanted to know what the city's process is for permitting. Tonight, CBS 8's Brian White is working for you to get answers.
Beautiful. Keep on coming down nice and easy.
We're seeing an ADU construction boom in the city of San Diego. Of the 10,000 homes approved for construction last year, 20% of them were ADUs, according to Michael Prinz with Development Services.
In a city that is largely built out where we have very little vacant land available, accessory dwelling units are an important tool.
Whether you're a big developer looking to drop 14 ADUs in a backyard or just a regular homeowner building one granny flat, the permitting process is supposed to be the same. The average time to get approved right now is about 7 months, but some developers who do this a lot can get it done quicker because their plans are more complete, whereas the average homeowner doing it for the first time may encounter hurdles.
ADUs tend to be a little trickier. We're talking about a lot that already has an established building on it, a house. And trying to meet the requirements, there are still some challenges.
One of those challenges can be knowing the setbacks you're supposed to have. I checked. If you're building a short ADU under 16 feet tall, it can go right up to the property line on the rear and side yard. But if it's taller than that, you need at least 4 feet of clearance in most cases. The way the process works, you submit your plans online and pay a permit review fee, which can range from $1,500 to $2,500. That starts the clock, and within 30 days, they'll let you know if any corrections need to be made. I asked J.C. Thomas, Assistant Director of Development Services, for some tips on avoiding delays.
Making sure you have, again, a licensed architect to assist you, a licensed contractor that has proven track record of experience in construction of an ADU. Those things are very important.
Beautiful.
If you're a do-it-yourself kind of person, that's okay too. They have tutorials and instructional videos for you. Once you've made all the necessary corrections and the city signs off, you pay your inspection fees, which can be a couple $1,000s, and then you can start building. In San Diego, working for you, Brian White, CBS 8.
All right, thanks, Brian. Major industry trade groups take aim at the FTC over a new rule that makes it easier for us consumers to cancel subscriptions. That's still ahead.
Also coming up, the new push to get the government involved in resolving the long-running sewage crisis in the South Bay.
And the University of San Diego graduate who is heading back home to Earth from the International Space Station.
It was another day of sunshine. We did have some high clouds added to the scenery. We're going to see more of that coverage as we go into the weekend. 71 degrees for downtown right now with some light winds. We'll take a look at your complete forecast ahead.